What did you do today?
I worked, and then I just got home. Maybe like, what time is it? Maybe like an hour or a little under an hour ago.
Nice.
So yeah, nothing too crazy.
Too crazy. It do be like that.
Pretty standard day. Yeah.
Cool. So how did you get into music, Zach?
I guess my friends are probably the first influence I had. I'm in a band with my friends now that got me into it, but like when we were younger, I had a couple of buddies. One of them played drums and two of them played guitar, and they were just like my closest friends, and that was probably like the first introduction to it I had.
Nice.
And then in the coming years, like a few of my cousins did music and they did like musical theater, so I kind of like picked up some of that as well.
Nice.
And then but yeah, just my best friend, he played drums, and I was just so like fascinated by it. So I for a few years I had asked my parents to get me a drum set, and finally for one Christmas they got me a drum set, and then that was kind of the start of it.
Nice. Did you like make a lot of like drum covers and everything, or was it just straight drumming?
That's kind of how I started out, was just doing a bunch of drum covers, and they progressively got better.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't start out very good, but that's just kind of how I started. I was posting drum covers for years. I'd kind of go through maybe phases where I wasn't posting as often, and then I would post more, and I'd kind of like get back into it. But yeah, that was kind of like my way of practicing, was just doing drum covers. I just like put my iPod on or whatever, because this was like before Spotify, so I just like plug my MP3 player in, or iPod, whatever it was, and I just like click shuffle and I'd play to whatever came on.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. You were just like headphones in, boom. I see, honestly, a lot more drummers still doing that, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like, it was easy back then, but it's even easier now with like streaming services. Just like everything is at your fingertips. You just like search a playlist and click shuffle, and whatever you want to play is there.
Yeah, true. So what was, I guess, your influences for those drumming covers and everything? Like, who was your tipping point?
Like, at first it just started out with like, what is the easiest songs to play?
Right.
Like, I think like Seven Nation Army was probably one of the first ones I did, just because it's probably everyone's first song that they learn. But honestly, it's just like whatever songs I liked and were in my skill range. So I don't think there was like necessarily a certain genre or style or whatever.
Okay.
It's probably more so like in the realm of pop, and maybe some like pop rocky stuff or light rock. But yeah, it was, and then just it kind of progressed into like whatever I liked. Just so it was like, whether it's rock, whether it's like EDM, like I think I did a few Skrillex songs over the years, and just like
nice.
It's just kind of whatever I was feeling that day, sort of thing.
Okay, cool. Well, because you're mainly in the pop genre, we'd say, right? Yeah. Sure. So it's like, what would be like your artist that you're like, wow, I'm very much influenced by this artist in the pop world, right?
For my personal stuff, because like I do have like drumming influences for definitely, and because I do play in some other bands that are not pop music.
Yeah.
But so like my influences for like drumming and my influences for like singing and playing guitar are very, very different. But for like my pop stuff, it's definitely like Ed Sheeran, as cliche as that sounds. He was kind of, when I first started learning how to play guitar, was kind of when he was coming up and getting really big. Yeah. And I've always loved his songs, so I was like, I'm going to try and learn his songs. And for the most part, they're fairly straightforward. So I was kind of not downplaying his songs. He's a phenomenal songwriter, but just most pop music is pretty straightforward. But I loved his songs, and you don't need like a full band to play them for the most part. So, but yeah, like Ed Sheeran definitely is one of them. There's a band called the band Camino. They very more like pop rock or like light rock, but I'd say pop rock. But they have a really, really cool sound. I'd put them in like my top probably 5 favorite bands. I don't know if my music necessarily sounds like them, but they're definitely like a huge influence for me. Like they just release incredible songs. I really like the 1975 too.
Good band.
I was kind of late to the party on that one. a friend of mine got me into them in like 2018, so they had already released a few albums up to that point, and like I had heard of them, but I never really bothered to like look into them. But
hey, I was late to the party with them as well too. Like it was like late 2020s. I'm like, oh, this is a band I need to check out.
These guys are actually sick,
right?
Yeah, I think you can hear a bit of their influence or style in some of my music. So basically just crank the reverb, and that's about it. But yeah, so I'd say them. My favorite band is they're called Neck Deep. They're a pop punk band, but not that I write pop punk songs, but like in my song Kiss Me, the drumming, you can probably hear kind of like some pop punky drumming in that one at some points.
Yeah.
And, so I sometimes like my genres and influences cross over a little
bit.
Not always necessarily in the singing or songwriting, but even like just the instrumentation sometimes. So those would probably be like my main ones, I'd say.
Cool. What's your goal really with music for you? Where do you want to basically be in the next 5 years, you'd say, Zach?
In the next 5 years, it's good. My all-time goal would be if I can just do music and like be self-sustaining with music, as I guess call it my job or my career, whatever you want to do it. But like if I didn't have to have another job and I could just do music and that would pay the bills, I don't need to be rich and famous. Not that I would complain if that happens.
Yeah.
Like that would just be the cherry on top sort of thing. Like I don't need to make loads and loads of money, but just if I can make enough money to live comfortably, just by doing music, I think that's my goal. In the next 5 years, like I'd love to be doing tours somewhere, or maybe playing festivals. That'd be really cool. I'm not quite sure how to break into that yet, but I do know, like, I just haven't bothered to like look into those, like go down those roads yet. So just because I'm not at that stage, I don't think, but I do think in the near future I could start playing shows outside of the city, maybe festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see you finally hop out of the city. Like I always suggest bands, artists, and everything. Like for sure, play shows in Winnipeg, get your name out there, of course, but for sure, try to branch out to other cities, and that's the main thing, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's hard to, because like you're in this day and age, if you're stuck in this little bubble circle and you're like, I want to break out, then actually tour and do it and do that, right?
It's kind of like, it's like another cliche. It's like you got to take that leap. If you don't take a leap to get out of the city, it's like you're just going to be another city band that plays in the city, and it's like that's if that's what you want to do, that's great. True. But that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Does your family support the journey with your music thing?
I've been very, very fortunate to have a very supportive family.
That's good.
I've met people whose families like don't agree with it at all, or aren't supportive, and so it's not lost on me how lucky I am that I do have parents that are like, yeah, like go do this, we support you. And like that being said, I still have like my 9-to-5 day job, so it's like it's not like I'm living on the street and I don't know. It's like I do have my means of income as well as I'm doing this, but like they're not like this is a waste of time. Like they're very much like you have something here, like go pursue this.
That's good. You don't that's very great to hear, because there's bands I've talked to, artists, they're like, yeah, my family never did support this journey with me, and it's rough. It's rough, but
and it sucks too, like when those bands or artists or like photographers, whatever they are, is like when they get like popular and they clearly successful and they still don't have that support. It's like, how are you how can your family be so just like ignorant, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know. It's like you clearly have a talent for this and you're able to make a living off of it. So why wouldn't your family support it? But
it just depends, I guess. I don't know. But going back with the Winnipeg music scene, how is it recently, you think, for yourself? Like, is it in a good direction or is it not a great direction, you would think?
Like for me personally?
Yeah, for you personally. Like for you.
Yeah, like I think it's going okay. It's been a minute since I've played a show for like my own personal music. Just I didn't want to get stuck in playing like too often where like less and less people start coming to your shows, and just also just like with the holidays not too far in the past, it was just like kind of everyone's busy with holidays and everything, and then it's freezing cold out, so no one really wants to go outside. It's hard enough getting people to come to shows sometimes, let alone when it's minus 40 outside. So
it's
here and there, like not always, but yeah, no, I've kind of been focusing on kind of writing and recording recently. But I'd say like it's going well. I'm trying to play with. I was also trying to break out of. I didn't want to keep playing with like the same handful of bands every time, because then you're just getting the same people coming to all your shows.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to play with more and more different musicians that I haven't like played with before, and most of them don't know who I am. I'm usually the one reaching out, being like, "Hey, do you want to play a show? Do you want to play a show?" And like sometimes I get a reply, sometimes I don't. But I think it's just kind of most people I find these days have like some form of like social anxiety. Like I know I'm riddled with it, so I feel like sometimes just like a stranger messaging someone being like, "Hey, want to play a show?" can come across a little weird. But
I guess I could relate to that, but also it's just like, hey, you want to go out for something, and that it's just like, this is strange and weird. Why do you want to go out, right?
Yeah, or it's like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd say it's going well. I have a few shows lined up for this year, but I'm hoping to get a bit more. Just trying to find more people, because like I have like the same 5 bands I could always ask to play with, but it's just I'm trying to break out of that.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can find other people to play with.
That'd be good. That'd be good to see you do more shows and different bands, different artists to check out and everything. Along with that, that'd be cool. Going back on what you just said, that you're working on some new stuff. How's, I guess, producing a song? What goes into your mind in the studio? Or I guess I don't know if you have a studio or if your bedroom, or how's it like going into that right away? How is it the process like?
Good. So basically, like my writing process is I don't produce myself. Like I'll do like a demo of something to like bring to a producer, because just that I don't have that skill set. It's above, like I could produce a song, but it's not gonna be like the quality I want it to be at.
Right.
So it's like I have just enough of a knowledge to like get a demo down, and then I bring that to someone who can like make it come to life essentially. But yeah, so I kind of have like my mini like studio at home. It's just a desk that I'm sitting at right now. But yeah, like when I write a song, it normally starts with like a vocal melody. Sometimes it's a chord progression, but I find I normally like, it's not always like when I'm sitting down like trying to write. Like sometimes I'll just be like out in the world, and like something will pop into my head, and then I'll take out my phone and just record like a voice memo of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like later on, like I'll get home. I find like when I write, I need to be alone. I feel like you need to be able to be vulnerable when you're alone, or when you're writing, or at least for me anyways. And it's hard to be vulnerable when there's other people in the room. Like even if they are contributing to the music, I just find like I can't really express the lyrics I want to say, or the chords I want to use. I don't know, just something about being alone with my guitar and just my thoughts is just kind of like the perfect setting to write in for me.
That's good.
But yeah, and then so then I'll try and like record a demo or enough of one to like give to a producer. The only producers I've worked with so far, I've worked with my one friend. His name is Phoenix Travers. He does his own music as well, but he's produced for a few people in the city as well. But yeah, when I was first looking to like start releasing my own music, I like made a post on Instagram being like, "Hey, does anyone know any producers in the city?" And another drummer friend of mine was like, "Yo, you should check out Phoenix. He actually does some pretty good stuff." So then that's how I started working with Phoenix, and we actually became really good friends through the process.
Nice.
And then sorry, I got a brain fart here.
Oh, you're good.
And then yeah, and then I did my first and second song with Phoenix, and then my most recent song with you I did with another guy named Josh, and he was in another band, but he left to pursue like mixing and producing, because that was kind of what he wanted to do.
Okay.
And just I noticed he had posted a song that he had worked on Instagram, and I was like, "Yo, this is really, really good." So I reached out to him and I was like, "Yo, would you be interested in working on a song at some point?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So then that's how I started working with Josh, and with you came to be. So now I kind of like working with multiple producers and having multiple projects on the go, so I can kind of constantly keep the ball rolling, or try to, as long as I have money in the bank.
Yeah, that's true, because
that's the biggest factor, honestly.
Yeah, it probably costs quite a bit on reaching out to producers, getting these mixes and all that. Yeah.
And like, thankfully, like, I know these guys on a personal level now, so it's like they're like not even necessarily giving me a friend's discount. I just think like they're, I don't know, they're not charging me as much as like they definitely could be if they were kind of like doing this full time or whatever.
Right.
But they're like, I'm still obviously having to pay them for their time. Like, they're not like giving me like they're not doing it for free.
Yeah.
To their heart. And I would also feel bad if they were. Like, I do want them to also get paid for their work as well, because God knows they deserve it. They put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both great at what they do, and they both kind of have a different work style. So I like working with both of them to kind of get different things come to each project depending on who's working on it. So
cool. Of course, you had those bad days, right, Zach? So
totally.
what would be like your worst writing session day that you can remember?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I don't like, maybe I just black them out. I don't know. Nothing's like really coming to mind. But like, I've written whole songs before where I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. And then I go back and I was like, that was like a wasted 3 hours. That is just absolutely terrible. Like, I'll like listen back to what I sang or what I wrote, or it's just like, that's not gonna ever see the light of day. So it's happened on a few occasions where like I'll revisit songs that I've finished and I'll like rewrite them just because I didn't like what I did. And like, honestly, most of my songs, I'm such a lyric snob that the lyrics usually change like 3 to 4 times before I even release it. So,
oh wow.
Like, I just, maybe not like the whole thing, but like there's definitely like words or lines that I'm like, nah, that's cheesy, or that's gotta go, or there's like people will think this about this line. It's like I start to like really overthink things. But
you get very particular, and then it's just like, I need to just stop now at this point, right?
I'll hyper fixate on like certain words or certain lines, and I'm like, that's so bad. And then I'm like, no one's even gonna like think about this. So,
that's
like, some people will, but like most people, like, they don't even like.
No.
So there's so much music out there that the lyrics are just terrible, but they have like millions and millions of streams just because they're catchy. So, and just, it's, most people don't even care about lyrics, which I was gonna say is sad, but I don't know if that's sad or not.
I don't know. It just
people have different tastes.
I guess it also depends on the market too, like, or the people that you talk to or listen to, or the listener as well as too, because there's certain people that are like, yes, they're probably fans of your music, but do actually look at the lyrics and like, this is actually decent. Or there's certain people that are like, oh, it's just a catchy song, I just like the vibe of it, right?
Totally. And like, I mean, even me, there's some songs where it's like I love, and I probably don't even know what I'm singing, or some of the lyrics I've like never actually like looked into before. But I'm just, for me, it's like, this is gonna sound cheesy, but like, I think the greatest songs in history are the ones that are catchy, that also have the best lyrics. Like, there's songs that are good because they have good lyrics, and there's songs that are good because they're catchy. But like, the best of the best are the ones that have both, in my opinion. So, and like, I don't know if that's a popular opinion, but it's definitely my opinion.
It's a good opinion. I like it. When it comes to having writer's block or lack of inspiration, how do you find that spark of creativity, Zach?
Oh man, I recently went through this past summer. I didn't write anything for like probably like 3 months, just because just nothing was coming to me. I tried to write, and just whatever. I either couldn't get anything out, or anything that I could get out, I just absolutely hated.
Damn.
So, there was like a solid 3-month period there where I couldn't for the life of me write anything that I enjoyed. And I was like kind of getting like sick of trying. Like, I had to like kind of just not try anymore. Like, I needed a bit of a break from it. It's kind of like, if you force something so much, it's not going to work. You just kind of have to, so yeah, I don't know. I guess that was kind of the worst writer's block I had. Like, there's days or maybe like a week where I can't think of anything, but normally like I'll get back into it. Just like something will come to me a few days later or a week later. But I don't know if like anything really sparks it. It's just kind of like spur of the moment sometimes.
Okay, so it just happens.
Yeah, as lame of an answer as that is, that's for me. That's how it goes.
Cool. Okay. No, that's totally fine. Is there a song that you wrote that you wish you never wrote?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's definitely a few, and there one that comes to mind is I wrote a few years ago. I don't even remember like what it's about. I know like I remember really really liking the instrumentation, like the chord progression of it. But every time I think about it, I'm like, just the lyrics suck. I hate the lyrics so much, and it's like I don't know why. Like it's just I think I know I'm capable of doing better, which is why I don't like those lyrics.
Yeah.
But so it's like honestly, it's probably going to be one of those songs that I revisit and just like scrap all the lyrics and just like start fresh, and I'll like keep like the chord progression and just try again with a new idea. But it's not like it's about anyone or about anything, and that's why I hate it. It's just like I think it's just like the melodies I chose and the words I chose. Just like this is subpar at best, and didn't want anyone to listen to it. So
jeez. Okay, I get that. You have a song right now that's playing on the radio.
I do.
What's it like getting that possibly new fans, new listeners, and even locally? Like, what's it like to hear your song on the radio, man?
Like, I'm still in shock. Like, it's only been like 4 days since I started playing.
Yeah.
And like the first time, like I saw it on, like I went to their website and they show like the recently played songs, and it was like a few days. I think it was like the second or the third.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard it yet, so I was like, oh, I wonder if they're playing it yet. Maybe they're just like waiting till the weekend's over to get to it. And then I was like, oh, it's played a few times already. So I kind of like, this is like, I have like really bad OCD, and not even like, oh, I have OCD. Like, no, I actually do have OCD. Like it's, and like, I tend to like hyperfixate on things, and I was like, okay, it played at this time, it played at this time, it played at this time, and I like mapped out how long it was between the times it played, so I could catch it at the next time it played.
Oh.
And thankfully I was right at the pattern, because I told like my family, I was like, hey, it's gonna be on at this time, so tune in. And thankfully it was. I gave them like a half hour window. It's like it'll probably be on between this half hour.
Nice.
And it was on, and yeah, so that was the first time I actually heard it, was like 3 days after they had started airing it on the station. And like I was by myself just at home, but it was like very surreal.
Oh, I bet.
Like I remember when I first started releasing music, and it was just weird to hear like myself on like my car radio with like just like my phone connected through Bluetooth. I was like, oh, this is like, that's me singing, and like it didn't sound bad. And I was like, it's like, not that it's like phenomenal or anything, but it's just like, oh, that's all right. and then so just to hear it on the radio, it's like, that's super super weird,
right?
And not to get like emotional, but like I almost like started crying at one point, just because it was just like, this is like I was just like, I couldn't believe my song is on the radio. My brain like couldn't compute what was going on. But yeah, no, it's been it's crazy. I don't know how else to explain it. And I have like this really cynical part of my brain. Like it's the cliche that like everyone's their own worst critic, right? So I have this kind of cynical part of my brain that's like, oh, like it's cool that it's on the radio, but it was still through like a submission thing. Like you had to submit your song to be aired. So it's like it's cool, but it's not like that cool, because you still like, you had to submit your song to get played. And it's like, and like there's the other part of my brain, it's like shut up, like this is still like a huge, like this is still a huge like accomplishment. They didn't just like they still had to pick me.
That's like the same thing. Like I'll tell you this, think of like the old days where like early 2000s bands, artists submitting their music to the radio station for their demos and everything. This is essentially what the radio is doing here locally lately. So which is cool to think about. They're basically bringing in the old method nowadays with local artists.
Yeah. And so like I'm definitely like super, super like cloud nine about that it's on the radio, but I think it'll like, the day it'll really hit me is if I hear my song on the radio and like I didn't do anything to like put it there, like I didn't like submit it or like just someone picked it up and started airing it. Like I think that'll be kind of like the but that is, sorry, I'm trying not to swear. I'm like,
no, you're good.
Carefully,
you're good.
But yeah, so it's like I'm super super grateful and happy and any other great adjective or synonym to those words that I've already used. But yeah, no, it's been amazing.
And it's cool to think about too, as well, Zach. Like, there's people that do listen to said stations that are not local too.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're getting listeners that are not from Winnipeg as well too.
Yeah, that's honestly didn't even think about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We get that all the time for radio stations. I've learned that from so many of everyone. They're like, yeah, we got people listening from even like overseas. I've heard like even the States. Cool. Like, it's cool. Like, you will have listeners that are listening to you that are all over, even in Canada too. So like, literally, you might even get one radio person that is not even from Winnipeg listening, and you might even, they're like, oh, this song's cool, let me actually put this in rotation to somewhere.
Yeah, like it's all like a domino effect.
Yeah,
it starts like one little thing can lead to another. So like I'm extremely happy with the scenario I'm in at the moment, but I really do hope that like the right person hears it and it gets like picked up somewhere else. And just kind of keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah,
but I'm obviously not gonna be sad if that doesn't happen. Like, I'm not holding my breath, but like, just that would be amazing.
Yeah. So with you, what came first, the lyrics or the music?
Definitely that one was lyrics.
Yeah.
And there's actually a really funny story behind it. I was in the summer that I wrote it, my wife and I, we lived downtown, and the parking lot at the time that we park in was it was all gravel, it was all rocks, and I was very fortunate to have my back window smashed.
Oh.
So one it was like a weekend. It was a weekend that I went out. We were like gonna go out to Tim's and grab a coffee, and noticed that my back window was smashed. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
Damn.
And so I get very paranoid very easily. I think that's called anxiety.
I don't know, but hey, I get paranoid for stuff too downtown at this point now too, man.
Yeah,
so
I'll hyper fixate on just the weirdest things. Like, so my window got smashed, and so there's like broken glass all around my car, and it's like in the rocks, in the gravel. And I had like somehow convinced myself that I might pop a tire on some of this broken glass, and it's like, I could barely afford a new window. I was like, I couldn't afford a tire on top of that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, obviously the odds of that happening are like very, very slim, and it's not the most practical scenario, but like it's in my head, I was like, well, it's not impossible. So
no, that's true.
So I was like, I couldn't like stop thinking about it. So I went outside and I was like picking through the gravel rocks in my parking spot with like tweezers, picking out the glass so that I wouldn't like damage any of my tires on the glass. And I was out there for like maybe 3 hours. My wife came out at one point. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." As I'm like hunched down, like picking, look like Gollum, just picking glass out of the pebbles. But anyways, so to loop back around here, how this song started was because I was out there, I'm like, I'm doing this probably pointless task. Maybe I'll try to like at least be somewhat productive with this free time I have, because I'm like outside by myself, no one's around.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe I'll try and like write a song. And so I was like kind of like humming melodies in my head, and then lyrics started to flow. And the first line of the song is, "Don't got it all figured out. Broken pieces keep on keeping me down." And that's literally me saying like the broken pieces of glass are keeping me down to the ground, picking them out. It's like, that's how that started. And then I was like, oh, that's actually not bad. And then it kind of evolved into what it is. But it's, yeah, so maybe if my window never got smashed, that song never would have been written. So.
Dang.
Yeah.
And this was outside like your home, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we live in an apartment downtown.
Okay.
And there's like a parking lot that's like right attached.
Okay.
To the apartment, but yeah, so we're like we're parked right beside our building. It's just
Zach, I'm gonna give you advice for the next time if this happens. Okay. Do you got a broom?
See, that's so many people told me, and I was like, well, I can't because it's like it's gravel. Like
you still can. You got that.
But there wasn't like pavement underneath it or anything. So sorry, my dog.
No, you're good. You're good.
There wasn't like pavement or anything, so it's like I probably could have gotten the majority of it, but
yeah.
like, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be thorough and just pick out all the glass. So it's like I probably could have gotten like at least 50 to 60% of it with a broom, but it's done is done. I got a song out of it.
That's fair. You got a good one, and it's on the radio because of it, so you're good. It works. Any new music soon then, Zach?
Yeah, so I'm actually I just got a message today from the mastering engineer on my next song, and I should get the master back either sometime tonight or tomorrow.
Ooh.
But I'm doing a song with an artist from the UK. Her name is Charlotte Sears. Another just kind of like pop. I guess I'd describe her as pop music. Yeah, she has a small team, like a management team that reached out to me in the summer, and they were like, hey, like we heard your song. Would you be interested with in like collaborating on a song with someone on our lineup? Because they manage a few different people.
That's cool.
And yeah, and so I was like, yeah, absolutely, sign me up. So long story short, I came up, they were like, do you have anything that you've written, or like do you want to try writing something new? And at first I was like, let's try to write something new. And then I was like going through some like voice memos of stuff I had, and I was like, oh, actually this one song might be really good. So we took a song I had already had, and I kind of rewrote some of the lyrics and some of the vocal melodies, and I sent it over to them. I was like, what do you guys think of this? And they're like, this is great. Let's do this. So yeah, I sent it over to them, and like I did most of it with produced it with Phoenix. He produced this one as well. And we did all the instrumentation like before Christmas, and then just with like the holidays, it kind of like broke things up a little bit, and like everyone's busy and they have their own things going on and whatnot. So I think early January, Charlotte got in a studio in the UK and recorded her vocals over there, and then sent it back over to Phoenix and I, and then we recorded my vocals, and then we kind of did a group project on this one because Phoenix produced it, and then I got Josh, who mixed and produced with you, to mix it. Nice. So we kind of got the best of both worlds on this one.
Cool.
Yeah, and then so yeah, I just got the mix from Josh, the final mix, like a few days ago, and it already sounded good. And I have to just waiting for the mastering engineer, who's another guy in the UK that their team knew and they recommended him. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So, and he's worked with some pretty big names as well. So I was like, he's got a pretty good resume. And
that's good.
Like, yeah, I was like, he was within my price range, and he's got an insane resume. I was like, let's do it. This is great.
Cool.
But yeah, so that one should, if everything goes according to plan, hopefully by the end of April it should be out. Yeah, so
that's soon then.
Yeah, like just under 2 months, I believe.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's all good to go. And then I have like another couple songs that I'm working on in the bank, so I'm gonna try and space those out throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah. So it's, I guess you're just gonna be dropping singles and nothing to do with EPs or albums, I'm assuming, right?
At the moment, yeah, just mainly. I don't know if it's mainly one. The first reason that comes to mind is it's the cheaper option to do.
Right.
To trying to drop a clump of songs all at once is a bit more cost a bit more. But yes, it's just kind of like easier to release and promote singles one at a time. And yes, and I don't really have an album or an EP of songs like collectively that I think mesh well together as of right now. So I'm not going to try and force that and just release like the 10 songs I have all into one because I have them. Like I'd rather wait till I have something that's a bit more cohesive. So yeah, as of right now, just singles probably.
Okay, cool. Do you feel like it's worth it in this day and age to be independent or go to a label for an artist?
Definitely. Like I think there's arguments for both.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on your situation, really. Like there's obviously many famous musicians that have famously been independent and made it work. Like I know, like Macklemore, like he never signed a label. He's independent and he's thriving.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I can never say their name properly. I don't know if it's Lauv or Lauv. It's Lauv. They're kind of like an indie Love. Maybe it's Love.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know. But I believe they're independent as well, and like they're doing great. Also, you talked about influences earlier. Like, they're another just huge one for me. Love their music so much. I think he was the inspiration for my first, or not inspiration, but like, it's kind of, I guess inspiration is technically the right word. he was one of the inspirations for my first song, Hear You Say, because just his sound is very kind of like synthy and poppy and chill, and I was like, let's kind of model it after his music, because I was listening to him a lot at the time. But yeah, I love their music as well, and I believe he's independent. Yeah, I definitely think there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you can make it independent on your own, like that's your golden ticket. Like if you make it and you're independent, you're gold.
Mm-hmm.
I think that mountain's a little harder to climb when you're independent.
Yeah.
But if you can somehow make it work, then that's the route. But I don't think there's any shame in like going with like a management or label if the contract suits your needs and like everyone's happy, then I don't think there's anything wrong with
it. If the opportunity presented itself, like if someone like say Warner, Universal gave you a contract right now, Zach, would you sign it? That's why I was wondering. Right now? Okay.
I will. Whatever you need me to do, I'll change my age. I'll get frosted tips. Whatever you want. I'll shave my head. I'll change my name. Anything. Give me that label.
But sometimes you sign a contract and they don't do nothing, man.
Yeah. There's that being There obviously logistically, I would hire lawyers and like get everything read over, make sure I'm not getting screwed over. But right now, as an independent artist who's kind of, so to speak, just getting by, the idea of like a label or coming to me with a contract seems just so fantastic.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and a lot of people get screwed over with contracts. So it would have to be right. That obviously it's a kind of stupid thing to say. Of course, it would have to be right.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean. There's a lot of ifs and buts, and it would have to be kind of the perfect thing. I wouldn't just sign anything that landed on my desk, but as tempting as it would be.
I'll send you a fake contract and you sign it. Then boom.
Perfect.
You're with me. Okay, cool. Any upcoming shows you got coming up soon, Zach?
Shows?
Yeah, shows.
At the moment, so I still drum for other people as well, and like I'm part of a few bands that I am the drummer for, and then I also kind of like drum for other people and their bands as well sometimes.
Yeah.
So at the moment I have a show I'm drumming for this upcoming weekend actually at the Osborne Tap House. The band is called Pretty Please. Their lead singer's name is Elijah. It's kind of like his band. The lineup has changed a little bit over the years, but he's a great guy. Love his music. He's kind of got like an alt pop rock kind of vibe. Like think like kind of like the Strokes, Black Keys, kind of in that realm. Maybe like Cage the Elephant a little bit.
Cool.
He's got a really cool sound. I really like his music.
Nice.
I played a few shows with him already, so I'm playing drums with him again on Saturday. And then I've applied to a few festivals as well this year. Just waiting to hear back on those, hoping some of those fall my way. And then I also have another show for my solo music lined up for, is it June or July? I think it's July. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about another one. I'll backtrack to that after.
You're good.
But the one in July is going to be at Side Stage. That's one of the newer venue in the city. I really like it there. One of the artists, their name is Cease. It's CEC. And they've got kind of more like a chill, almost like jazzy blues kind of vibe. And they have got to be, I kind of geek out over them. And I don't want to come across as like weird or anything. I'm just like a super fan of theirs because their music is so good and their voice is just like buttery smooth. And like I showed my wife and she also just kind of like, we're both just kind of like crazy about their music, and they're like, they're so cool, their music is so good. And I hope I don't come across super weird if they ever see this, because that'll be really strange. But no, I've known about them for a few years, and then our paths have kind of crossed a little bit, just here and there. But yeah, I just on a whim, I was trying to find people to play a show with me, and my wife was like, you should reach out to Cease. It's like that. They're probably not going to say yes. Like, I don't know. Our styles are a little different. And like, I feel like I'm like not on their level musically. Right. She's like, well, just send them a message. You never know. And I was like, okay, sure. So I sent a message, and I don't know if it was like a day later or that night, whatever it was, they agreed to it. I was like, oh my God. They said yes. They said yes. So yeah, that I'm really excited for that one in the summer. If it's June or July, I can't remember. I'll confirm that later on. But
that's fine.
So there's going to be 3 artists, or ideally there would be 3 acts that night, but at the moment it's just myself and Cease. And then, there's another one in April. It's like 90% confirmed, like 90% confirmed that I got the gig, but I'm still just waiting to hear back from them. A touring band is coming. They're from Ontario, and they're coming through Winnipeg in April. And they're playing at the Tap House, and I had actually reached out to them like probably over a year ago at this point. I came across them on TikTok, and I was like, yo, you guys are phenomenal. And they're like, yeah, they're like, your stuff is great too. And so we followed each other, and we kind of sent a few messages back here and there. But I was just kind of on a whim. I was like, hey, if you're ever in Winnipeg, we should play a show together. And they were like, yeah, totally. And then they announced that they were coming to Winnipeg, and I didn't see that they had like any openers or anything. So I reached out to them like as a second I saw the post, I was like, oh my God. So I sent them a message, and I was like, yo, like, would you guys, like, any chance I can open for you guys when you're here? And they're like, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, we'll just have to like confirm it with our team and everything, but like, we'll get back to you. And so like, I'm just waiting to hear back from them. So hopefully that works out. I don't want to like jinx it.
Yeah.
But they seem to be inclined to like let me open for them, but I think they're just like confirming the logistics and everything. Yeah. But yeah, so that would be at the Tap House in April, late April, I believe. So probably around the time my song will come out. But,
nice.
But yeah, so those are the only 3 gigs I have at the moment. Like I said though, like I'll probably have more get scheduled over the next couple months, but that's what we got.
Usually summer picks up. Like that's the thing for me. Like spring for me is busy for photo gigs, but like summer right now, it's like sure, there's the odd thing here and there in summer, but I haven't been booked for anything right now yet too. So
right.
I'm with you too. It's just like there's a couple things.
Yeah.
Maybes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's like with everyone. I think right now it's just like there's things. There's some things. Maybe there's confirmations. Maybe there's not. I don't know. But
I feel like right now it's kind of like the planning stage.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like nothing's confirmed, or we're gonna get there, and we'll see what lines up.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Who's some artists that you hope to work with in the future, Zach?
Like play shows with, or
in general, I feel like for this, I guess working for Sans music.
That's a good question. Oh man, I don't know. Like obviously, there's like big name people I would love. To work with. Like who doesn't want a song?
I say okay. Let's do Canadian. Let's do Canadian.
Okay. Sorry, did you say play shows or like record?
Recording.
Recording. Okay.
Yeah.
That's even a good question. I don't know. Like the Beaches are really cool, but like I don't know if our music styles would line up. Like that'd be kind of a weird.
That'd be a weird mix, but it'll be a cool mix though.
Like I do have like one or two like kind of rockier songs, so it's like there might be some sort of crossover there that could work, but I don't know, that might be a little far fetched, but I mean Mariana's Trench would be really cool. That would be wild. Hey. I'm like suddenly blanking on just Canadian artists.
Oh, you're good. You're good then.
I mean Shawn Mendes, that'd be huge. I've had some people like compare me or say like my sound is a little similar to his. So it's like that would be really cool if we could maybe do a song at some point. Again, I know how big Shawn Mendes is. That's pretty far fetched, but like, but yeah, that'd be really cool. And I think our styles are pretty similar, and that could work. Nickelback, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Who doesn't want a song with?
Yeah,
it's Nickelback. Their show poster on the wall right here.
No
you
way.
can't see it, but that would be hilarious. Just let me drum on a song. I don't even just sing, or just let me stand on stage with you. I don't have to do anything. But a song with Nickelback, that'd be cool. Be happy. That would be so cool. Yeah, I mean, I know Bieber gets a lot of hate, but he makes some killer songs. A song with Justin Bieber would be crazy.
I feel like you're our Winnipeg Bieber, honestly, Zach.
I'll take it. You know what? Yeah. I'll take it. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else that comes to mind. Like, there's a few like Winnipeg musicians. Like, there's another Winnipeg musician named Ben Notes. He's really good. I really like his stuff. He's got my.
Oh, you're good.
Edward, enough. He's Eddie when he's good. He's Edward when he's bad.
Aw.
But yeah, Ben Notes. I really like his style. He's kind of got more of like an R&B feel to a lot of his songs, which I don't really listen to that kind of music, and I wouldn't really know how to write anything in that style. But I feel like
it kind of crosses a little bit, like R&B and pop. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a crossover there, and I think we might be able to come up with something. I think that would be pretty cool if we could do a song together, because I really like his music. I mentioned Cease before already, but Cease would be great. Just they've got that perfect, like really chill, relaxing style of music, and I would love to do something with them if the opportunity ever presented itself.
I was getting memory from my, I guess, Snapchat like a year ago or so, 2 years ago, actually. And I feel like you two would mix well. And I don't know if you know this artist. Her name's Taylor Jansen.
I love Taylor Jansen.
So I feel like you two would mix well.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic music. Taylor, if you ever see this, you probably have no idea who I am.
Or myself as well, too. But
you probably never heard any of my music. But if somehow, some way, the stars align and you see this, please do a song with me. Honestly, that stands for Ben and Cease too. Yeah. If you guys see this, please, I'll do a song with anyone. I love just collaborating with other artists. I feel like, I'm sure most artists get this. They just like hit a wall at some points, and they can't really like think of any like new ideas or stuff they've already written, and just working with that other person might go well.
Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of artists. Like, even if you're at a stuck standpoint, like yourself, like you were in last year, where it's like, if you know other artists that you could build off of or talk to in general, it helps. It very much helps.
Totally. And actually, it's funny that you're talking about collaborate. Not that I forgot, but it's been a while since we worked on it. But I'm working on a song as well with Jane Fuentes. She's another Winnipeg artist. May or may not be another version of a song I've already released, just with her feature on it and kind of like reimagined in a different style. But yeah, I'm working with Jane on something, so that'd
be cool.
Hopefully we'll get that out by the summer as well. I'd like to get it out by kind of around the start of summer if possible, but we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, there's so many underrated artists in the city. I'm sure there's people I could mention that I'm just blanking on right now, but there's a lot of really good artists.
We're the Nashville of Canada, honestly. I feel like we're the Nashville of Canada.
Honestly, yeah, there's like, I know like Ontario, Toronto, like there's just kind of like a bigger pool of people, so there's probably more artists there, like just because there's more people there. But like just the talent in this city is unreal. Like I can't believe how many good artists there are in the city that just people don't know about, because I don't know, people, and like I'm guilty of this too, just sometimes you just like listen to what you already know, or like you just click shuffle on your playlist and it's all the songs you already have saved. Like you don't feel like going and finding new artists. But like, good Lord, there's so many good artists in this city. It's crazy. And just in like the last like kind of year that I've been performing live, I'm like going to more shows and just meeting new people and just kind of finding out about new people. And it's like, holy crap. Yeah. Another great artist too, Nick Dyson. I think he just released an EP, just like acoustic, chill, almost kind of like City and Color vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Would, if he's ever down to do a song, Nick, if you see this, let's do it. I'm down. I'm willing to work with anyone.
Yeah, there we go.
Work with me.
Just someone work with Zach, all right, guys?
Please, I'm desperate.
All right. What was your first concert you went to, Zach?
Down with Webster.
Okay.
I think it was, I was in high school at the time. It was probably around 2010, 2011.
Wow.
Give or take. I still have the hoodie I got from that show in my closet. It was the last, I got it at the end of the night, and it was the last one they had, and it was like an XX, I think it's like an extra large, and at the time, I was like probably just shy of 100 pounds. Like, I was a tiny kid. I mean, I'm still not the big, I'm still pretty small, but like even in like high school and middle school, I was like puny. So I was just swimming in this thing. I was like, they're like, oh, we only have an XL. And I was like, I'll take it. Just give me it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Down with Webster was my first concert at the Burton Cummings Theater, and they kicked ass. Nice. It was so good.
What was your favorite concert?
I remember talking about this with my wife probably a few months ago. We were trying to, I think I was doing there's like a template thing that came up on Instagram stories, and it was like, first concert, best concert, worst concert.
Oh yeah, that one. I did that.
I spent probably 2 hours like dissecting all of these. So I was like, what was the best one? And I was like, well, are we going best by like experience or best by like sound? And it was really hard to gauge.
Right.
The first ones that come to mind though, my wife and I saw Paul McCartney in when was it, 2019, when he came to Winnipeg.
Ooh.
He did, I don't even know how many. I think he did 2 dates in Canada. One was like Toronto and one was Winnipeg. Like, it didn't make any sense.
That's crazy.
Like, I don't even know if he did a Toronto show. I think he just did 2 dates. It might have been like Montreal and Winnipeg. It was something weird like that.
Okay.
Like, why is he in Winnipeg and not Toronto? But anyways, my wife, and like, I'm like, I don't mind the Beatles. I'm not like a huge fan or anything. And like, I don't mind the Wings and some of Paul McCartney's songs, but they're like, my wife is like a huge, super fan. So She was like, we got to go. And even I was like, it's a Beatle. We have to go. Like, I don't even care where we sit. We got to be in the building.
Yeah.
Like, we'll never get to see him again. So we bought nosebleeds. We're like at the very back of the 300s, back of the arena. And we got there early. We got merch and then got to our seats. And when we were sitting down, like, it was still probably like another like hour and a half at least until showtime. Like, we were there as soon as the doors opened, and we got our stuff and went and sat down.
Nice.
And shortly after we sat down, like maybe like 10, 15 seconds, this lady comes around the corner and she starts walking up the steps towards us, and she's dressed like businessy, and she's got a clipboard. And I looked at my wife and I was like, fuck, let's go. She's going to like ask us some sort of survey or something. And I was like, I didn't want to do it. Like, let's go get drinks or something. And I am so thankful we did not. Like, I will never, oh my God, I'm so thankful we didn't leave our seats, because she came up to us and she sits down like right beside us or right in front of us. And she's like, hey guys, how's it going? And we're like, we're good. How are you? And she's like, good. And she's like, so whose idea was it to come tonight? I was kind of like, this is a little weird, but whatever. And I was like, and like, she's dressed like very like businessy. Like, she's not just like someone attending the concert. So I thought she was with like the MTS people or Canada Life people, like organization. She starts asking us all these questions, and she's after the end of these questions, she's like, cool. She's like, so I actually work for Paul, and he wanted me to come up and find some people and give them some better seats to the show. Would you guys be interested? And my wife, I had she was gripping my arm, and she didn't let go to like the end of the conversation, because she was just like freaking out. Like, she couldn't say anything. I had to do the rest of the talking because she was just stunned. And yeah, so long story short, we're like, yeah, absolutely. So she gave us 2 physical tickets. We still have them like in like, we have them in like a bag somewhere in like one of my nightstand drawers. And yeah, so we were at the back of the 300s. I think our tickets were like $200, maybe $250. Like, we didn't care. We were just there happy to be there. She gave us front row seats on the floor. Like, we were literally at the stage, or I guess at the barricade technically, but like, we were right front row. And I was like,
what?
I called like my mom, I called my dad, I called my wife called her grandma because her grandma loves Paul McCartney. Like, he was her favorite Beatle. So we got upgraded from the back of the arena to the front of the arena.
I've never seen that before.
I've like heard of that or like seen like stories on like Facebook or Instagram, whatever. But like I was like, this doesn't happen in real life. This isn't real. But yeah, we got front row seats, and it was incredible. Like that's never gonna happen again. And it's just like for all concerts for it to be like Paul McCartney. Are you kidding? Right? So we sat front row for Paul McCartney, and we looked after the show. We're like, I wonder how much these tickets were. They were like $2,500 each. We were like, should we have sold these? But no. So yeah, we kept them. It's like that's when people ask what's the best concert you went to, like that's usually the one that sticks out just because of like the experience. Mm-hmm. And like the music was phenomenal too. Don't get me wrong. Like they have some of the best. He has arguably some of the best musicians in the industry playing with him.
Yeah.
And like he sounded great too, and it was just kind of like a party the entire time. It was just like a really beautiful concert. There was one part where he played Live and Let Die, and there's like at the end when there's like those big shots like dun dun, he had like pyrotechnics go off and everything, and they were super super loud. So at the end of the song when they were done, Paul was on the piano and he like hit the last note, and the crowd starts cheering, and he like grabs his ears and he like looked at my wife and I, and he's like, that was really loud, right? And we're like, yeah, it was. I swear,
no way.
It was so cool. So that one, I think just for the experience and like kind of everything around it, that would probably be the best concert. Okay. But like my favorite band, Neck Deep, they're a pop punk band. Like I bought tickets to them on a whim in 2018 without having. I was in Toronto, or technically I was in Hamilton, and I didn't have a way to or from the show, and I needed to be up at like 4 a.m. the next day. But like I bought tickets on a whim, and we made our way to the show, and we made our way back home, and I got up at 4 a.m. I got home at like 3, and then I got like an hour of sleep, and then got up at 4 to go do what I had to go do.
Brutal.
So it's like that's like a really fun story too, because like it was the first time I saw my favorite band, and they were incredible. My wife and I saw 21 Pilots in 2019, I think, and like just the stage presence that Josh and Tyler have, like unreal, and like just they sound incredible. And Josh is probably like Josh Dunn. He's probably top 3 drumming influences for me, if not the top 1. I love his drumming. It's so cool. And I think I've kind of incorporated a bit of his playing into my style as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so 21 Pilots, Neck Deep, Paul McCartney.
That's a wide range.
Yeah. Right, yeah. A little all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of my music taste in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, I've seen Ed Sheeran twice, and he was incredible both times. Honestly, the most surprising one, though, I saw One Republic in, I think, 2017. Ooh. I was like, oh, yeah, I know One Republic. They're good. And, like, I bought tickets, and not that I was, like, downplaying them. Like, I obviously knew how, like, great they were. But just, that was, like, the most surprised I've ever been at a show. And that's sometimes why I was like, was that the best concert I've ever been to? Because, like, they blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, Ryan Tedder's voice, how like what you hear on the radio, I don't know if they do anything to his voice, because that's exactly how he sounds live. And just like they all played multiple instruments, so it's like they'd be like swapping instruments between songs, like all of them, and it was just really cool to see all of them play all these different instruments, and they just sounded incredible. And it's like, this sounds kind of cheesy, but it's probably like the most beautiful concert I've been to, if that makes sense. Like they had like a lot of like really beautiful songs, and it was yeah, so that's like another one that sticks out. But sorry, that was a really long answer to a very short question.
Fine. That's fine, man. Dude, I honestly think for me, every single time I see Billy Talent, it's probably my favorite time.
Oh my God. I've seen him. So my wife and I, we have so many show posters.
Yeah.
You can see like a few behind me on the wall back there. Sorry, I can't, the mirror, it's reversed. I'm trying to figure out.
You're good.
This brown one here is Hosier.
Ooh.
This beige one in the middle is Jonas Brothers. That was also incredible.
That was a great show.
That was, gosh. I don't know how I forgot about that one. Jonas Brothers. I'd also put that in like my top 5 probably. They were insane.
Forget my top 5.
And then the other one on this side, the black one, is Greta Van Fleet. That was an incredible show too. Like, oh my god, there's so many good
shows.
My wife and I are like concert junkies. Movies and concerts, that's all we do, and like that's where most of our money goes. So like we'll go to the theater to see movies all the time, and like anytime there's a band in town that we like we'll usually be going to.
Nice.
But yeah, Billy Talent, first time I saw them was 2017, I think. It was the Afraid of Heights tour.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw them as well too.
Fantastic.
Right?
And then I saw them at the Burt Block Party. And then I saw them for their Crisis of Faith tour at the Burt, like inside the Burt. That's I have Nickelback on the wall here, and then behind the computer I have Billy Talent.
Damn.
Their show posters. And like there's a bunch, like we don't have enough room or like frames for all this posters we have. We still have like 4 probably under our couch under some books that are like being flat and protected, and then I have like 3 more in frames that we just haven't hung up yet. Another good one I went to was Noah Kahan when he came recently, a few months ago. I saw someone describe it as just like a big like campfire sing along.
Ooh,
and that was just, I couldn't have like described it better. Like I was just like all of his songs are so beautifully written, and so I'm kind of like geeking out right now.
Dude, I'm sad I missed that concert, but it is.
It was so crazy. My wife and I won tickets to that one on the radio because I was trying to buy tickets, but it sold out really quickly, and tickets were also like pretty expensive.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta see them, but like I don't know, do I want to pay like $200 for like nosebleeds? Like that's pretty rough. But so I ended up winning tickets, and at the time my wife didn't really listen to him all that much, so she was like, "Oh, if you want to like invite someone else to go with you, that's fine." And I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." And then I didn't invite anyone because I was just gonna sit on it because I figured she might like regret not going.
Yeah.
But then like a few days later, one of her friends who really really likes we all work together. Like I worked with my wife and this girl at the job we worked at together, so we were all kind of friends, but mainly my wife and her were friends. She couldn't get tickets and she really wanted to go, and my wife was like, "Well, hey, Zach won tickets. Do you want to go with him?" And she was like, "Oh my god, really?" And then I was like, "Yeah, let's go together. That's awesome." So I actually went with my wife's friend to Noah Kahan, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
He's incredible. He's got great kind of like banter and stage presence, and that was a phenomenal show as well.
Yeah, there's so many good shows. But with that, top 5 artists you want to see in Winnipeg come through in the next 3 years.
Foo Fighters. This one breaks my heart. Sorry, I'll get to the question just quickly. Sorry, I'm undiagnosed, but I think I might have ADHD too. The year that Taylor Hawkins died, I had bought my wife as a Christmas present tickets to go see them in Toronto. Because they weren't coming to Winnipeg.
Right.
And then like a few months later they announced they were coming to Winnipeg. So we bought tickets to see them in Winnipeg too. So we were going to see them twice that year, in Toronto and in Winnipeg. And then Taylor Hawkins died. And like my wife and I cried. Like it was like
brutal.
That's arguably her favorite band, one of them. And like she got me, like I obviously knew Foo Fighters growing up, but like she, like when we started dating, she really got me into them, and like Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins and just the whole band, just like huge inspirations to me. So it's like we were really gutted about that one. That one hurt a lot. But yeah, if Foo Fighters could come to Winnipeg, that would be fantastic. Top 5 artists. Oh wow.
Yeah, come through the next 3 years. Mine's just little bands, but most people don't like hear little bands, so it's just like whatever.
I'm trying to think. There's another artist I like. His name is, sorry, my light isn't the greatest here.
Hey, you're good.
There's an artist named Matt Mason, and he's more of like acoustic pop.
I found him out last year because he played Calgary in the Stampede. I'm like, there's a bunch of artists in the Stampede I wanted to check out, and he popped up for me. I'm like, he is.
Front
to back, his catalog is so good, man.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the album, but it's like an all red album cover. But I think it came out in like 2022.
Yeah.
It might even be his most recent album, but like that, just beautiful. He has a side project actually. If you're interested in checking it out, it's called User X, and it's him and like one of his buddies he grew up with that's a rapper.
Ooh.
And so it's kind of like more kind of like hip hoppy, like it's almost like chill pop rap. I don't know how to explain it, but it's more like on the more chill side. But that User X EP, they just released like one EP together, and like that is phenomenal as well. If you want to check out some of his stuff that you probably haven't heard. But yeah, Matt Mason would be incredible. He was actually supposed to. Well, he wasn't. He was opening for a band on tour that came to Winnipeg a few years ago, but he was only doing the U.S. portion. He didn't come to Canada and open for them. He just did the American tour, and I was like, "You son of a bitch! Like, why did you deprive us of your?" Oh, it was I was so mad. I mean, the act that opened was still great, but I was really looking forward to.
Dude, the amount of artists that just don't do Canadian legs, and they're like only American legs. It's terrible.
Unfortunate. So yeah, I would love to see Foo Fighters, Matt Mason, already super weird comparison.
Very good.
Man, who else do I want to see that I haven't seen yet?
So we got 2.
You say 5?
Yeah, I said 5.
Oh man. I mean, Louis Capaldi would be incredible. He's not touring right now, obviously, because he's obviously got his condition, which like completely valid.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him perform. Man, I'm like trying to think of like who am I listening to? Who's big right now? Like Hozier just came. Like that was a huge one. Loved seeing Hozier.
He's probably gonna come back for Folk Fest. I'm honestly very much thinking he's gonna be Folk Fest.
So this is I don't want to jinx it, but I almost went to see City in Color the last time he was here. And I've never seen City in Color, and he's I know. I've just never gotten around to it, and I was like on Ticketmaster ready to click purchase the ticket, and it was not a smart move financially when he was here last time. I didn't have the funds. It's like I would have been fine realistically looking back.
Yeah,
I think the ticket was like $80, and like $80 doesn't really go that far these days, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I was like, I wish I had just bought the damn ticket, because I saw like videos and everything of the show, and I was like, this looks incredible. Why did I not go? And like he's phenomenal every time he's here, and I've never just something's come up, or it's like it's at Folk Fest, and like I don't want to go just to see him.
Yeah.
So having him come back around next time, I'll catch him the next time he's here. Which I would assume would be inevitable.
In the next, I feel like next 2 years he'll come.
Yeah,
I feel like that'll happen.
Man, sorry, hang on. I'm just gonna like pull up my phone here because I got to see who I'm listening to right now. I want to say again, Lauv, however you say his name. He would be really cool to see. Like what's on my recently play? Oh, I really want to see the Kid Laroi. I feel like that one's a little far-fetched. He probably's never even heard of Winnipeg. But
hey, if his girlfriend
haven't.
If his girlfriend's playing it, probably
that's
show
true.
up.
Yeah, she's from Calgary, so she might be able to persuade him to like a Canadian tour. That would be sweet. Did she just play Winnipeg?
No, she's going to be.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool if he came. You know what? Maybe Tate McRae's got some pretty good songs too. You know what? Maybe I'll just go.
Honestly, it's possible he might do a guest appearance. It's possible.
That would be so cool. But yeah, I love the Kid Laroi. He's one of my like. If you take like all of the hits of the artists you like, if you're just judging based off of like their top hits, I would say he's got to be in like my top 3 artists of all time. Like his hits just hit. Is the definition of the word hit.
Okay.
Yeah. In the dictionary, it says hit, and it's just the Kid Laroi's discography. But yeah, he would be really cool too. And was that 4?
That was your 5.
Oh, okay, great. Thank God. I was struggling.
No, you're good. Describe yourself with one word. What would it be?
Perfectionist.
Why that?
And like that's not always a good thing. Like sometimes it can be a very bad thing.
Yeah.
Someone a close friend of mine, his name is Dean. He's another artist in the city. His project's called The Stowaway.
Oh, I know Dean.
He's fantastic. Very, very underrated artist. But he gave me a compliment today, and he said like you're very like meticulous and just like very like just all these great words. And I was just like, do you mean anal? Do you mean perfectionist? Do you mean OCD driven? Do you mean like, so it's like, he used the nice version of those words. And my brain was like, no, I'm just insane. And I hyper fixate on every little detail. So as a very, very nice compliment, and it like made my day. And I love Dean. That guy's great. But it was just, for one word to describe me, I would say probably perfectionist is the word I'd go with.
Be the word. Okay. If you can have your listeners and fans remember one thing about yourself, Zach, what would it be?
Remember one thing about me.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm so just this is a really cheesy answer, but I genuinely so grateful for anyone who takes like even a second out of their day to like click on my name or search my music or just like hit play on any one of my songs. Like it really, I can't say thank you enough. Like it just genuinely does mean the world to me. Like if you give me 5 seconds of your day to check out my song, even if you don't like it, just the fact that you went and checked it out, it's just like, I appreciate that so much. So if anyone who listens to my music or fans, I'm not on that. I don't have fans. I'm not at that stage yet. Some people might call themselves fans of me, but I don't think I've unlocked that bracket yet of like being allowed.
Have you sold merch? Have you sold merch yet, Zach?
No. To friends, yes. I've sold merch to friends.
Then you got fans. You
know what? I'll take it. If it's Mikey approved, then it's Mikey approved.
If you sold merch, you got fans. That's what my...
All right, Mikey says I got fans.
Well, yeah, like, if you're selling merch to people, you got fans.
Yeah, I'm genuinely so grateful. And, like, I know that's such a cheesy answer, but it's... If you can remember one thing about me, it's that please know that I am so happy that you took the time out of your day to listen to my music.
Good. Cool. All right, tell me what you got planned for the rest of 2025, Zach. That's... Yeah.
I got those few shows that I mentioned. Hopefully more will pan out, and I got a few songs kind of cooking right now. So if gonna try to release, I released 4 songs last year, so if I can I'd like to hit at least 5 this year if possible. It's kind of my goal for the year, release 5 songs. I kind of want to keep the ball rolling if I can just keep releasing more songs every year.
Yeah.
Honestly, just money being the biggest factor in the world we live in right now. It's not the greatest, but just I'm recording. I'm trying to write more because I don't like, I write a lot, but I don't have a lot of songs. But I find the songs I have, like, I don't like quality over quantity sort of thing. It's like I find the songs I have are all of them, or not all of them, but most of them are, in my opinion, pretty good. Or I like them anyways. I would hope other people do too. But I don't have a lot. That's the problem. Right. So I know people that like write like 50 songs in a year, and then they'll make an album of like 10 of them. And I was like, how did you write 50 songs that you didn't just despise?
Right? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Some people are, and maybe they do hate the other 40. I don't know. And just the 10 they liked were the ones they used. But I'd like to start writing more. So I got to hold myself to that. But so just writing, hopefully a lot more. Gonna try and get these songs out, and then play some shows. I'd really like to do a festival this year if possible. If it's outside of the city, even better. But I'll take anything inside the city.
Cool.
But yeah, that's kind of the plans for the rest of the year.